Yo, what is up everybody, it's Jetty Gray here and welcome back to another reaction video here today. And so we have yet another death battle here that we will be checking out. And as you can tell the title, this is Batman vs. Iron Man, DC vs. Marvel. So again, we have a comic book oriented death battle. And like I said in the previous death battle, the problem with comic book characters is that they are composite characters, meaning there are sometimes hundreds of versions of characters, such as these two, which are classics and have been around for decades at this point, right? So looking at this matchup, if we take some of the strongest versions that at least I'm familiar with Batman, we have versions that could destroy the entire DC multiverse, right? There is a version of Batman that was malevolent and took the powers of Dr. Manhattan, and I believe destroyed the god of the DC multiverse, if I'm not mistaken, right? And on the other side, we have Iron Man. There's a version where he has the God Killer armor, where he's able to take out Celestials, which are, I believe, multiversal individuals that are pioneers of the Marvel multiverse. So those are like them at their extreme versions of power. If we're looking at mainstream, I would tend to lean towards Batman slightly because he has more feats establishing his intellect, his ability to strategize in battle. I think he's more battle savvy than Iron Man. Obviously, if technology is not in the equation, he solos Iron Man quite easily. And I think his mind is more well adapted to battle in general. I would argue Iron Man, on the other hand, is more tech savvy, right? He's probably better with technology than Batman. Batman's field of expertise seems to be more so battle, interrogation, espionage, martial arts, etc. Iron Man's field of expertise is technology and nanotechnology, and just advancing his technology at a above human level, right? He is the peak of human intellect when it comes to technology, one of the world's greatest minds. So there are different advantages and disadvantages for both, right? And I'm very intrigued to see what Death Battle has to say about this one and what versions they use to make this interesting. But before we begin, any love greatly appreciated. Hit that like button, turn on bell notifications to stay updated with yours truly. And if you're new and you enjoy me and you mess with the kid, make sure to hit that sub button, because once you do, become part of the family forever. Let's not waste any more time, screen. Let's see what this video entails.
Batman, DC's vengeful crusader.
I believe that's his Hellbat armor.
Iron Man, Marvel's genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
I believe that's
These
the God Buster
their
armor.
intellect and determination to take their place alongside gods.
And being filthy, stinking rich sure doesn't hurt either. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
That's right, he's back. In case you're one of the many psycho supervillains stalking the streets of Gotham City, I would make peace with whatever god you pray to, because they won't save you from the goddamn Batman.
But before he dressed like a giant rodent and employed little boys in booty shorts as meat shields, he was Bruce Wayne, scion of the multi-billion-dollar company Wayne Enterprises.
Until Mommy and Daddy got 360 no-scope, leaving Bruce with a void inside him that could only be filled by the never-ending quest for justice and vengeance.
That night, Bruce Wayne died and the Batman was born. He would devote his life to perfecting his body and mind to become more than human. He would transcend his own mortality into legend, a nightmare to haunt evildoers till the end of time.
Jesus Christ! I feel like Zoloft and therapy would work too, but okay, whatever works.
Batman's resume is absurd. He's mastered 127 martial arts, trained in stealth and assassination, and is a super genius with a photographic memory. He's the world's greatest detective, bar none.
Like how the League of Shadows needs to keep erasing Batman's memories because he keeps finding their secret bases. Or the time he found a dead body with no entry or exit wound and a 40-year-old bullet nearby, and somehow determined it must have been fired backwards in time.
Despite being a master marksman, escape artist, forensic scientist, mechanical engineer,
and ninja,
one of Batman's assets stands above them all.
His fat stacks. Bat has poured his billions into tactical armor and gadgets for every conceivable situation. If there's one word to describe Batman, it's
These
prepared.
different suits.
Made of reinforced Kevlar and titanium, his Batsuit can resist knives and gunfire, and even protected him from this massive explosion. Judging by the size of the detonation, Batman's distance from the epicenter, and the surface area of his body, he must have withstood a blast of nearly 60 tons of TNT.
It's a durable suit.
His cowl comes with night vision, infrared, and a radio, while his utility belt is chock full of smoke bombs, nerve toxins, a grappling hook, and batarangs, which he can control midair and set to explode.
It was these tools that allowed Batman to wage his one-man war on crime.
But once he got over his angsty loner phase, he helped found the Justice League of America in order to bring his personal brand of Bat Justice to the entire world.
And Batman's knack for schemes and preparation skyrocketed to match, turning him into the Bat God we all know and meme. Like the time he developed a backup personality that would ensure he functions as Batman in case of a psychological attack that drove him mad. A backup human operating system. Like a computer, but it's his brain.
He even has plans tailored to his teammates' weaknesses should they ever go rogue. He's developed contingencies for everything, which is why Bats comes prepared with extra suits for any occasion.
Correct.
Like his Nightfall exosuit to battle Bane, or the Justice Buster, which he obviously designed to combat the Justice League. He even got a final Batsuit from his sixth dimensional self that can rewrite your mind.
But my favorite is his stylish zebra suit, which he wore after getting weird Magneto powers. They just made his suit look like this for some reason. There's also the Rainbow Batman suits, the Suit of Sorrows, and of course, the Bat Nipples. Chicks dig the Bat Nipples. All paid for with the Bat credit card. Never leave the cave without it.
But perhaps his greatest suit of armor, the one designed to put him on the same level of insane mind-bending power as his league teammates, is the Hellbat.
AKA the single coolest looking thing ever invented.
Absolutely.
Forged by Superman in the heart of the sun, each member of the Justice League contributed to this monstrous mech's abilities.
And boy does it show, the Hellbat is absolutely hardcore.
Made of nanokinetic mesh, it can shapeshift around Batman's body and operates via telepathic link.
It can fly, turn invisible, and fire a bat-shaped chest laser. And by diverting all the suit's power into his fists, he can use the Devastator, a punch powered by Wonder Woman's strength. And she's strong enough to yank the friggin' Earth around. Though it does have a 95% chance of giving old Bats a heart attack.
Which he has given himself to save all of Gotham City on at least one occasion. It's that level of insane drive that pushed him to use the Hellbat in his one-man invasion of Apocalypse in order to bring his son back to life.
You know, Apocalypse, home to the god of evil himself, Darkseid. Batman stared down the final boss of DC Comics and actually kicked his ass.
This is incredible, considering Darkseid is a being strong enough to destroy entire universes and fast enough to fly to the edge of the universe in seconds. Since the DC universe
Very
is
impressive.
significantly larger than our own, that would be over 600 quintillion times the speed of light.
That same Darkseid avatar even took a Shoryuken from Alan Scott, who was amped up from the energy of the multiverse. And Bats cleaned his clock just as hard.
But this incalculable strength is drawn from Batman's own life force, specifically his metabolism. Should any fight with the Hellbat go on too long, Batman may succumb to its hunger before finishing the fight himself. Or absorb someone else's biomass for fuel. That works too.
So basically, you'd have to be completely batshit insane to pilot this thing. And Bats, yeah, sorry to break it to you, but the grown man that wears his underwear on the outside isn't all there.
In keeping with being a perfectionist, though, he's completely aware of this. That's why he does not kill. Because if he did, he understands that he can't trust himself to know when to stop.
Batman has outsmarted the nigh-omniscient Metron, defeated his dark counterpart, the Batman Who Laughs, and humiliated Superman in a one-on-one fight. No, wait, that one's not canon. That one he technically had help. Yeah, that one!
Although many of his greatest accomplishments have been aided by his exceptional prep work and foreknowledge, he's no stranger to being put on the spot, even in the face of Armageddon. Who else would kick the Spectre, the Angel of Wrath, God's divine judgment, in the face, and then tell him to get the hell out of his city?
I'll tell you who. The goddamn motherfucking na-na-na-na-na Batman!
My parademons arrive soon.
Think I haven't planned for this?
You would be forgiven for doubting the destiny of genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist Tony Stark.
Yeah, 'cause you can add massive prick to that list too.
Tony's parents died when he was still young, leaving the mind-bogglingly brilliant prodigy to inherit a multi-billion-dollar tech company.
With mommy and daddy's purse strings, Tony decided to live it up and down in booze and the ladies.
Which was problematic considering he made his fortune as a part of a military-industrial complex, selling devastating high-tech arms to the highest bidder.
And Tony got to see his handiwork firsthand when it literally blew up in his face.
Tony never had much of a heart to begin with, but after that, he literally had even less. Unlike so many men of weaker spirit though, Tony refused to give up. He was made of tougher stuff. He was made of iron.
So he built himself a robot suit to bust the hell out of there. And when he got back to the good old US of A, he devoted his life to protecting the world from the kinds of weapons he helped make, by making an even better robot suit and becoming a superhero.
I am Iron Man.
Building new suits of armor wasn't just a hobby for Tony, but an obsession. Over the course of his long career as a founding member of the Avengers, he has constructed dozens of different models, which he can call to him at once like a literal one-man army.
Most of his armors
Impressive.
come with the same basic toolkit: super strength, massively hypersonic flight, and repulsor blast.
Repulsors are extremely dense beams of muons, unstable subatomic particles similar to electrons. They're actually really interesting. See, they're classified as leptons, which don't have any known substructures. Just sort of like...
It's a laser!
just suck the fun out of it. His armors also come with onboard AI, like Friday, which can hack into enemy technology, command his other suits to fight remotely, and operate down to the picosecond. That's 1/trillionth of a second.
Wow.
Even outdated armors are strong enough to blow up a chunk of rock as big as Manhattan. By taking a look at its speed, Tony's armor would have had to be hitting with an energy of nearly 300 teratons of TNT. That's 3 times stronger than the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Years spent defending the Earth has conditioned Tony to be prepared for any threat imaginable, and he has an armor for almost any occasion.
He's got an armor to bust Hulks, an armor to bust Thors, an armor that can turn intangible, a super tiny armor that can mess with your insides, and an armor made of white sticky alien goo. Definitely not legal in all 50 states.
Gross. In order to remain as flexible as possible, though, his standard go-to is the Model Prime. It has all the classic Iron Man staples and has even incorporated size changing for extra strength, an invisible stealth mode,
And a badass lightning samurai sword! Say what you want about the smug son of a bitch, but he's definitely got style. And crippling alcoholism. But look who's talking.
It was more than likely that same devil-may-care attitude that led to Tony revealing his secret identity to the world, which I guess had no consequences.
Look, Wiz, when you build a space laser strong enough to wipe out alien fleets in one shot, I don't think the Mandarin is going to interrupt your shawarma lunch date.
That space laser is a Dyson sphere, a speculative superstructure that is meant to encircle an entire star and harness its energy. Something only possible by a theoretical Type 2 civilization on the Kardashev scale.
It's basically when you're galaxy-brained enough to draw power from the entire solar system.
I know it's comics, but the fact that Tony just has one of these lying around is insane. Known as Soul's Hammer, Tony's incomplete sphere is strong enough to destroy a planet at only a 2% charge.
Wow.
Didn't you work on one of those? I remember you talking about how it would solve your student loan problems once and for all.
On behalf of the families of several planets that no longer exist, I'm not legally at liberty to discuss that.
Years of protecting the world from aliens, gods, and even his friends. All of that stuff wore Tony down and turned him into the one thing he promised himself he would never become: a narc.
Siding with the US government's enforcement of the Superhuman Registration Act led to a literal civil war between superheroes. It wouldn't be his last.
Though it did prove he could hang with the best of them. He's beaten Captain America in hand-to-hand combat, survived blows from Thor, and even took down the Worldbreaker Hulk.
He even matched Magneto. Magneto, the guy that controls metal, the thing that surrounds Tony's entire body, by amplifying his power with Jupiter's magnetic field.
And then Max punched him with
Wow,
the power of
impressive.
the sun, and it was like, no big deal. There really doesn't seem to be a limit to how insane Tony's tech gets. In the movies, this is the same guy that figured out time travel just sitting around one evening. In the time it takes me to down a beer, Tony's already shattered the laws of physics. Yeah, sure, go to the Middle Ages and play knights with Dr. Doom, you scamp.
Perhaps his greatest invention of all, however, was the E-scape, an entire virtual universe where the only limit is his imagination.
And because Tony's nothing if not predictable, he made an armor out of it. That's right, he made an armor out of a universe.
This virtual armor is composed of solid holograms that can form any weapon Tony can think of. But even it likely cannot compare to the armor Tony created inside the E-scape, the Godbuster.
It's literally Iron Man going Super Saiyan. The Godbuster was so powerful it destroyed the entire E-scape in a single blast, along with the AI controlling all of it.
An earlier iteration of the Godbuster was able to stand up to Celestials,
The God
cosmic
Killer armor,
gods
yep.
that can warp reality, like Galactus, Odin, and Franklin, who can threaten the multiverse with their power.
So it lives up
Impressive.
to the friggin' name in case you were wondering. But it isn't that kind of power that makes Tony special. After a life spent wallowing in vice and pleasure, Tony rebuilt himself into a man he could be proud of. Someone who could sacrifice everything to save the world.
I suppose underneath it all, that man of iron had a heart of gold.
You want my property? You can't have it. But I did you a big favor. I have successfully privatized world peace.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
Let's see how this goes.
But first, if you want the same level of confidence as these two billionaires, check out Blue Chew.
Confidence. It can get you far in life.
That's why
Go
Blue
and
Chew
skip
delivers
this.
the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable
Hey, bats! Now, I can respect a man with a healthy sense of paranoia and billions to spare, but Steve and Nat are really up my ass about this. Take the watchtower offline now.
Bruce, you don't want this fight, Tony. It'll be the biggest mistake of your life. Clark, do you read me? The watchtower is being attacked.
Seriously, bats? I figured out hacking in the 2nd grade. How do you think I got in here? Aside from... Really, Bruce? This stick? I thought we were grown-ups here.
Ready when you are.
Now the odds have evened a
Soul's
bit.
Hammer online pronto. Match my coordinates. I'll try to... Oh.
What did you expect? I am Batman.
And I am Iron Man. I've got a suit for everything, Bats, including busting wannabe gods like you.
Interesting. That's the Godbuster armor.
Bust this.
They're downplaying that Godbuster armor just a little. If he was able to gain power of the universe, then it's pretty impressive.
Had to divert some power to hacking that suit. Like I said, 2nd grade. Friday, fire the hammer!
No more armors, Tony. Just you and me. Man to man.
Well, man to genius billionaire playboy. Maybe just one more. Model 58, the nano armor. Snuck it into your body back on the watchtower. Friday, initiate self-destruct.
Really? You don't think Batman's suit would be able to detect nanotechnology?
I could really use a drink.
Alright, that was entertaining though.
You know, if they fought naked, Batman would have beat the shit out of him.
While Batman is a character defined by his tenacity, preparedness, and utter genius, so is Tony Stark. So neither could rely on that skill set alone to pull them through.
And it shouldn't come as a surprise. Batman's standard Batsuit couldn't quite hold up to the firepower of even the most basic Iron Man armors. The Batsuit is surprisingly tough, sure, but it isn't taking hits from a dude that can punch apart Manhattan. And despite Bats having a ton of nifty gadgets, Iron Man's armors were way more varied and powerful. With so many unique and often alien abilities, there was no way Bats could predict all of them.
With time, he could certainly figure out a plan of attack, but since Tony is just as much a genius schemer as Batman, he could do the same.
There are lots of cases where he would have won, especially with his ace in the hole, the Hellbat.
The Hellbat's raw power and speed absolutely dwarfed the majority of Iron Man's arsenal, and could have killed him immediately were it not for Tony's own trump cards.
Like the Godbuster, which was definitely strong enough to contend with it. The Hellbat could take on Darkseid, but a weaker version of the Godbuster could hold its own against Celestials.
Darkseid was a being capable of threatening the multiverse with his power and
I'm not
moving
sure
10 times
if
faster
the
than
God
light,
Killer armor is
but the
exactly
Celestials
weaker.
were
I'm not sure if
capable of
that's
the
a
same.
With an
fact,
armor that
but
strong, Tony
if,
could buy
if there's
himself
comic
enough
book
time to
fans out
break
there that
out
know
all
that
his other
that is a
tricks,
fact and
like
can
sneaking nano
state
armors
the
into
source,
Batman's
and
body,
please, I'd be
phasing
interested
through him with ghost tech,
to hear about
the
it.
Hellbat's power, or just hacking his suit and shutting it off.
And with an army of armors at his beck and call, Tony could certainly hold Batman off long enough to employ those strategies. Hell, since he can control them remotely, he technically didn't even need to be there and put himself in harm's way.
And remember, the Hellbat used Batman's own life force as a battery. He needed to end the fight quick or else his own armor would kill him first. With Tony throwing an army at him, he didn't have a good way of doing that. Tony just had way too much shit to throw at Batman, while Batman didn't have the time or options he needed to keep up.
Batman may have been a god among men, but Iron Man's wealth of gadgets, insanely powerful tech, and greater mechanical experience allowed him to crush the Caped Crusader.
You might think it's an injustice that Batman's gonna need avenging, but Iron Man was in a whole nother league.
The winner is Iron Man.
Okay.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that episode.
Alright, that was the end of it. I definitely want to get my thoughts on this. Now, one, you have to kind of presuppose how strong Darkseid is, right? Because the Hellbat beat Darkseid. So you go to presuppose. Is he galaxy level, right? Or is he universal plus? It depends on the version of Darkseid, right? Because there are versions of Darkseid that take over sectors of the universe, take over galaxies and things of that nature. That one wouldn't be exactly universal plus in theory, but there are Darkseids that are universal plus, and some that are beyond and damn near multiversal. So it depends on your presupposition of Darkseid's power scaling. If you think he's multiversal, then the Hellbat would beat the Godbuster armor and everything that this version of Iron Man threw at him. It seems Death Battle was presupposing that Darkseid was maybe below Universal Plus because the Godbuster armor of Iron Man's is Universal Plus, arguably. Now the only question is the E-Space the size of our own universe. Now, you could argue yes because the E-Space is only dependent on Iron Man's imagination, right? So theoretically he can make a universe bigger than that of our own, hence that suit is beyond universal. So they didn't display what the Godbuster armor would really do to that version of Batman. It would tear him apart. It would be stronger for sure. Now I know it's tough to gauge these kind of things. They are ambiguous, so they made it entertaining. They made him relative. Fair enough. But the way he was defeated at the end, I think was a little disingenuous. Batman prepares for everything. So it's not hard to fathom him preparing for nanotechnology trying to infiltrate his suit. Alright, he probably has an electric charge that will displace if there's anything foreign on his suit, even on molecular level. So I don't think Iron Man would have took him out with nanotechnology. I think the suit would have reacted to it. I think Batman would prepare for something, especially if he's fighting enemies that can turn to something that small. Right? There's enemies within the DC universe that can turn small like that. So Batman would most definitely be prepared for that. You wouldn't take him out that way. But I do think Iron Man would most likely beat Batman with these versions, right? With the seemingly presuppositions established by Death Battle. So I would probably lean towards Iron Man too. I just don't think he would have beat him that way. I think he would have beat him with the Godbuster armor. He would have overwhelmed him, and it would have lasted too long, and the Hell Batsuit would have eaten Bruce Wayne and tore him apart. Right? He has a time limit because it basically eats your metabolism and eats your life force essentially over time. So Iron Man probably would have won with that armor alone. Again, Death Battle has to make these entertaining, so we can't just have it go that quickly and that simple, because it wouldn't be entertaining, it'd be anticlimactic, and they wouldn't get as many views or as much talk on the video. So I understand. And again, the restrictions of cinema, the restrictions of our modern technology, right? You can't exactly display the exact power specifications of these type of characters. So this is what you got here. This was a very entertaining video. I definitely lean towards Iron Man. I think the conclusion was correct. The way the conclusion was presented is incorrect to me, though. I definitely lean towards Iron Man in this one. But yeah, folks, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and what you thought about this. It was very interesting. I know there's many differentiating opinions, but again, keep in mind these are composite characters. It really depends on which version you're exactly specifying. If anything, the most clear way to get a winner and make it somewhat definitive would be to state the continuity, right, of each character, what storyline of character we're speaking about, which author wrote this specific version of such said character, and then from there specify their attributes and their assessment on as far as power scaling and character and their intelligence and things of that nature. That's the best way to have these comic book discussions, because if you just kind of spitball it, it's ambiguous. We don't know, at least we can't really quantify anything, really, right? So that's my thoughts on the video. Again, let me know in the comment section below what you think. I'm always interested to hear your guys' thoughts, but that's going to wrap it up, and I'll catch you in the next video. This is Jay the Great signing out. Peace.